can start. So I wanted to start with Dell Computing, simply because it adds quite nicely to what we want to discuss in terms of the value creation process and value innovation. So if we look at Dell, Dell is quite interesting in terms of their approach, in particular the laptops. So you always have your generic laptops, and those laptops are obviously always available. Has anyone ever owned a Dell? Yeah, that's was my concern, Gaston. Yeah, I get Acer. All I do is get Acer. I don't buy anything but Acer because it's the only one I trust. And I'm told to trust Acer. And then obviously, yeah. Um, are they making a comeback, Nate? That's good news then. That's good news. But what Dell does incredibly well is that when we look at the idea of value innovation, so the one thing I will talk to you guys about, whenever you see Kim and more, I can't pronounce that, and I'm so sorry about that. What generally it means is that it's something to do with blue ocean. It's something to do with rendering your competitors obsolete or irrelevant. It's something to do with not caring about strengths and weaknesses and basically just doing magic in terms of even recreating aspects of the organization. Lenovo for me is a headache, Nate. Every single Lenovo that we've ever owned in this house has been a disaster. Lenovo and Asus, I stay away from completely. So, in terms of where innovation can take place, now, ideally, because you want an all encompassing approach to innovation, we want to almost do this in terms of all three areas. So, in terms of innovation, in terms of the physical platform or the product itself, obviously the product platform, I think what Dell does, and this is Dell International, they allow you to make your machine actually meet your specific requirements. So, set your own motherboard, decide the kind of processor you want, decide the screen card, etc., etc., etc. So they can customize that particular board for you and then build you a customized laptop. Then what they do well is they have amazing customer service, but also have salespeople who really listen and understand their product. And then the logistics is how they get it to you, and their arrangement in terms of couriers, etc., is spot on. So I know they're making a comeback. I didn't know that they were that far gone, but it's interesting that people are going back to Dell again. So, in terms of the idea of value innovation, changes in the product. Give me examples of products that you recently bought that was so advanced that essentially it rendered others completely obsolete. Now, I'm not going to go back to the idea of smartphones, etc. But give me an example of a product that just rendered everything almost being to be archaic. Yeah, Gaston, I think that's also the reality. I think it's also the reality that you will pay for this bespoke approach. What is Virtual Flight Gear? Virtual Flight Gear. Oh my gosh, hold on a second. Okay, which one did you buy? Yeah, and I've got it here. So did you do the simulated cockpit one? Oh my word, look at this. I know. I would imagine Gaston went for this one here. Yeah, no, yeah. Guys, I think Gaston has just told us, guys, please remember you're not dealing with the average here, that he can actually buy varsity college if we're not careful and then expel all of us. Right. So I think they're amazing examples of that. I like the look of those actually, guys. And then the services platform, it really is about customer satisfaction and impressing your customers, and then how we get our products to our specific customers and how rapidly we do that. I also think that we must remember, with drone technology becoming a reality, is it will change the rules around logistics. And yeah, obviously we need legislation changed, etc. But the reality is, somewhere down the road we will have our products delivered using Checker 660 or 6060. Sandra, it is such a nice example of just rewriting the rules around grocery shopping. Astonishing. And the number of 6060 motorcycles in Pietermaritzburg is ridiculous. And if we then add to it that it's about job creation, they've created so many jobs. It is a wonderfully, wonderfully innovative company. Wonderful example, Sandra. Really, really wonderful example. But I think we down the road will be seeing drones deliver our bits and pieces. Obviously, we need to change legislation and all of that. We've spoken about Blue Ocean quite a lot. Now, in terms of Blue Ocean, this is where you create the industry. It's when you set the rules. And I spoke previously about being a pathfinder. And a pathfinder essentially makes up the rules as they go into the realities of a new industry, because generally there's nothing prior to that that actually gives us an idea of what the best practices should be. But then again, you become the Google of the industry, and apologies, you become the Hoover of the industry. In terms of red ocean strategies, I think the truth is that in terms of blue ocean, obviously no competitors. Red ocean is a feeding frenzy, and I cannot find a better description other than feeding frenzy. It is when you get into the ring and the WWE guys are going completely insane, and you somehow have to survive. And it is about telling people what your value proposition is, etc. If we look at the idea of blue ocean, we've spoken about this significantly already, but it is about creating an industry, being first in the industry, setting the standards of the industry, and writing the rules of that industry, and almost guaranteeing that your name will end up in your company brand name will end up in the Oxford Dictionary. If we also look then at innovation opportunities in terms of business model innovation. So whenever we think of business model innovation, again, it is Checkers 6060. They've rewritten the business model around what it means to be a traditional grocery store. And let's be honest, the model has changed so significantly, and because Checkers constantly is a step ahead, everyone else plays catch up. And that's why Sandra defaults to Checkers 6060. I cannot tell you what Pick and Pay is called. I cannot tell you what Spar is called. I don't even know if Spar does that. But Checker 6060 is the one that will end up in the dictionary. Obviously, that's exaggerated slightly. But what they did well is, who is the customer? And the truth is, the customer is someone who wants convenience. It's someone who doesn't always have the time or the ability to get to stores. And then what do we value? And again, it's that convenience. And the convenience is astonishing. And then how do they make money? They sell groceries. But in terms of this, is how do they deliver cost to, sorry, what is the economic reason why they actually deliver value? And we can see the economic reason. They're the biggest brand in terms of food retail in the country. It's as simple as that. 20 years ago, the benchmark partner would have been Pick and Pay. Now the benchmark partner is Checkers, because they are so innovative. Any other examples where a business can essentially tick each of those boxes. In my second year class today, and I know this is a ridiculous example, and my apologies, but in my second year class today, we spoke about this. Now imagine this as an innovation, I don't know how many years ago. And if you don't recognize it, then obviously you were raised slightly differently. Um, to me, who remembers that? You're looking at that. Give me a second, Kat. I don't plan beforehand. As my mind goes, I look for examples. You have one. What do you do with it, Kat? What? Okay, no, that's a good reason. What are the 1,001 uses that we have? It's hand wash, yeah. What are the 1,001 uses that has? Who doesn't know what that is? Who doesn't know what that is? Dishes, you can use it for dishes. You can use it face wash, body wash. Now imagine back 70, 80, 90 years ago, 100 years ago, I don't know when this founded. Wash your dogs, catfishing. What? What is okay? I don't know what that means, Gaston. Catfishing, as in catfish, the way I and oh, okay, because catfish has another definition around it, guys. And then can I also just say you can use it as a way to extract pus from a is it? I don't know where extract pus from boils. I mean, I know this is now pushing our luck, but it's also used in babies to. No, I won't use that example. That's unnecessary. But the truth is, imagine this thing 100 years ago, because this is 100 years ago what we considered sugar soap. I mean, it's all of that. Yeah, venom from a spider bite. Spot on, Gaston. And it's interesting. They're a lot more. Tunzi, how you boy? The truth is, imagine that a couple of 100 years ago. If you look at that, these questions apply the same way as that did 100 years ago. Fantastic. The scary thing, though, is how long that has been around, and how I think, yeah, my student told me today that when he was at varsity and no money, he used that as his soap, his washing powder. So he used to just shove it into, or grate it and shove it into a washing machine, because apparently it's a wonderful washing powder, guys. And then just the kinds of things we have is an idea of what your business will look like. Know your target segment, know your product, know your revenue. But the key thing is this: understanding your value chain. And Checkers gets the spot on. And obviously it's about the cost. And the truth is, Checkers is very, very reasonable in terms of their prices. So when we look at new business models, and this again is one of the concerns with any form of change, is that change is never going to take the form of almost having a Lego block and plugging the Lego block perfectly into your existing model. Nothing works like that. Everything has to be customized. Everything has to make sense in terms of the contingencies of the organization. So often when people want to change, I think, first of all, when you have this kind of success groove, and when I talk success groove, it is that the sort of how important traditional models are viewed and how people will hark back to them because they made us successful in the past. But the reality is they become a success groove. And then people unlikely to try it when that success groove is too strong. And then the second one is that you will always have to have a number of distribution channels. And Checkers again has that, the online, you can go in, I don't know if they still have the Checkers shopper that does it as well as they did during COVID. And then also, I think the truth is that you sometimes might not have the finances because all the money goes into what we trust from the past, guys. And then, yeah, all of these are potential questions in the exam, but that's a problem for another day. Yeah, so we talk about 5 strategic triggers. The first one is that by making this change, you lock a large number of potential customers out. Give me examples of organizations that changed so much that they offended their existing customer base, that they upset their existing customer base. Yeah, well, that's an interesting one. Yeah, where people have got offended by that. Yeah, Merc Buckies. I'm going to sound so gangster now, so I'll try and not sound gangster. I always think of Green Day. I don't know. I don't know. I'm assuming everyone knows who Green Day is. Um, Yeah, I mean, absolutely astonishing. When they went commercial, they offended a vast majority of their existing base because they had to move away to make their music commercial. So the hardcore initial watch Green Day in clubs and spend time with Green Day in clubs disappeared because they then locked those customers out because they were forced to become more commercial. The second one is that, yeah, I think what will happen is that there's an opportunity and we need to move. Now, if we think of COVID, for a lot of people, COVID was a real problem. But we often talk in business about the so-called black swan opportunity. Does anyone know, I might have done this already, what a black swan opportunity is? Anyone heard that term before? Black swan, obviously haven't spoken about it. A black swan is the ability by some companies when everyone is facing a crisis to, in that crisis, find an opportunity. So for a lot of organizations, COVID meant disaster. For them, in terms of what they did, Checkers 60, or before Checkers 6060, no, it was Checkers 6060 then. They realized they had new technology, they knew they had online technology, and they also then realized that they could capitalize on what was the significant threat. I don't know about a bluebird boyer. I think coffin makers were going to do well anyway. I think the truth is that for the average company, for the average grocery thing, I think the truth is that when we think of a grocery store, a lot of them suffered, but Checkers didn't. And for them, they made that into a black swan. Yeah, absolutely. That was Skellum. But there were alcohol companies that stopped making alcohol and started producing hand sanitizers. So yes, you're not going to sell your core business, but they sold, they sold hand sanitizers. I think the companies you're talking about, Nate, are those people that went and price gouged. The next one is that I think it is about redefining industries. I think some industries have become so stale that it needs a shake-up. And Yo, my word. And people being poisoned. Is American Idiot 20 years old? Oh my word. You guys are getting old. I've been old for a long time. Well, I mean, Kat, that is such an important comment question that you often find that new industries are created in a garage somewhere. Apple in a garage, Google in a garage, hip to be square, our Mark Shuttleworth in a garage. And a lot of the larger organizations miss that because I think the small entrepreneurial companies are light on their feet. And that's why so many advances happen. Yeah, Zoom has had its best years as well. Teams has taken over again. Yeah, well, I think that's it. I think big companies sometimes miss these really small companies making big differences. That's it. They're ninjas. They are definitely ninjas. Guys, and then just the idea of redefining an industry. I mean, the one I've already mentioned is Apple redefining what the computer industry should be. And they've done that multiple times, including redefining it with the first iPhone. So there are lots of these examples when people see that technology has advanced and we can capitalize on those technologies. And then, yeah, if there is this sort of low end disruptor, I always worry about that. These low end disruptors are often the ones that become the high end disruptors. Yeah, DSTV needs to redefine its industry, but it's often those low end disruptors that catch the large firms off guard. And then, yeah, when there's a shift in basis for competition, a significant example of that is how there has been a shift in terms of what it means to compete when selling, for example, music. So, music, in my mind, survived way longer than it should because people weren't going in and buying CDs and buying, you guys won't even know what this is, buying albums, etc. And I think if there's a shift in basis, I think Musica believed for too long that their business model will, yeah, no, there are records, Katerina. Guys, and then bottom of the pyramid. Yeah, well, they tried, Nate, but it was really just trying to save an unsavable company. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They last way longer than they should have. I'm surprised that we still have CNAs. I don't know if we still have CNAs, but CNA's business model for me is seriously questionable. Do we still have CNA? I don't even know. I can't recall when I last was in a CNA. Oh no, they're still around. Wait, I don't know if they are. Oh no, there are still some around. Yeah, no, there are some CNAs. Guys, the next one that we I want to look at, well, PNA's disappeared as well, Kat. In Maritzburg, PNA's disappeared. Yeah, no, they're two different companies. Um, and PNA didn't survive in Pietermaritzburg because of online stores and threats from online stores. Right. So if we look at the bottom of the pyramid, this has been around for yeah, a good number of years already. And it's the idea of doing business with the poorest of the poor. So when we think of doing business with the poorest of the poor, well, Capitec is a wonderful example of that, where it is a bottom of the pyramid company, and we've seen how they've grown. So the one thing we know that is one of the risks with bottom of the pyramid, is that people might consider selling people stuff that they're too naive to actually understand is rubbish. Bottom of the pyramid is about empowering people. It's about assisting people to break a poverty cycle. So the one example that I default to all the time is the idea of entry level tablets, sort of a 300 rand tablet. And in terms of that 300 rand tablet, because they're available in India, and you make it, it's not going to have the best graphics, it's not going to have the fastest processor, but what it will have is M-Pesa. I'll look at that in a second. I don't even know what that is, Elton. But these tablets, fintech, okay. Yeah, it looks very similar to a Kindle. And what it does, it has connectivity. And then obviously, the moment you give somebody access to the internet, they have access to learning, they have access to doing price comparisons, they have access to apply for jobs, they have access to the world. And the truth is that I'm going to look at that one now, Elton. Thank you. I'll move it across here. Elton's just sent me this. Yeah, that's the one. Very nice, that actually. Really, really nice. But it's not about taking advantage of the poor. It is about empowering the poor to break the poverty cycle. It is about making sure that we provide opportunities for people to grow and move away from assuming that we have these two groups in South Africa, the haves and the never will haves. And unfortunately, for some people, that's true, but it's working with those never to haves to create opportunities to turn their life around. So, in terms of the bottom of the pyramid, I think there are a number of things. The first one, serviced by inefficient providers. Let's be honest, what Capitec did is they gave people who couldn't afford banks charges at the main banks an opportunity to have their own bank account. And yes, then obviously soon after that, First National launched their 4 Rand 99 account. Nedbank launched their 5 Rand account. Oh my gosh, the well, one of the dangers of money lenders, or I don't know if we have, I saw who was here. Sorry, I'm picking on someone now. Tunzi, money lenders. Is it mashonisas? Is that the right word? I'm not sure that I'm pronouncing that. Go, Tunzi.
Yes, yes, yes. It is
Yeah,
Mashonisa. Yeah, you're correct. And they take
I
your
want to
ID.
mispronounce.
They take your ID for security. As like if you don't pay us back,
Jeez.
they have your ID.
And also, they charge you 50% interest. It's just completely insane what they charge in interest. Yeah, guys. Also, remember the other one that fits that kind of definition is this one here. Hold on a second. Open. It's this guy here. Time Bank. Again, very, very, very clearly focused on bottom of the pyramid. A wonderful example. Anyone with time? M-Pesa. I'm going to look at that now. Oh, I see it's linked to Vodafone. Okay. I'm just accepting cookies. Okay. Well, very, 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 very good example that. Hey, I don't know. I really don't know. Elton, the biggest bank in Africa. That is flippin' impressive. Oh gosh, look at the numbers, guys. Look at the numbers. Wow, that is impressive. Anyone use M-Pesa? Well, first of all, anyone on Vodacom? Yeah, that's yeah, no, we haven't got enough numbers to do that. It's voter pay in South Africa. Okay, very, very cool. So if we look at the bottom of the pyramid, I think there are a couple of things that you need to do. First of all, it is the total delivery of value. And it is not a once off ripping people off. I mean, that's nonsense. It's a long term relationship about empowerment. I think generally what we look at is that we look at those groups of individuals. We try and have people set up their own businesses. We focus on people who work as survival type entrepreneurs. And then we focus on those four areas. Awareness, I think it is getting people to understand what products and services can do for them, because I think often when people think a cell phone, they think TikTok. I think a cell phone is, or a smartphone is significantly more than TikTok. And then access. Now, obviously, if you give somebody an entry level phone, and I know that we have entry level phones, it is important that we make sure that there is internet available. And the truth is, you know, I really get concerned about what we charge in terms of our internet. Can I also just say, guys, I don't know if anyone read the article around Elon Musk's Starlink, that it is coming to South Africa, but it is waiting regulatory approval. Did anyone see that? Yeah, I just want to share this one because the truth is we are held hostage. Yeah, that is the problem, Elton. Um, yeah, it's my goodness me. I hope, I hope we get this right. I really hope we get this right. Because if you look at where Africa is, I honestly think we should get this here as soon as possible. The moment I have it, our data prices are ridiculous, Elton. Yeah, yeah, they are in Zim. No, they are in Zim. They've been in Zim. They're also in Botswana. They've been in Botswana. So if you think of the SADC countries, they've only got two more SADC countries, and I'm excluding Lesotho and Swaziland there. But the truth is, we are dragging our heels there. And if you look at that, is that Elton is kicking against the empowerment deals, the triple B double E's, and other bits of regulatory stuff. But yeah, I don't know how to read Elon Musk's mind. Sorry, Elton. Guys, and then just it's about affordability. What Starlink will bring us is affordable internet. Now the question is, will the existing competitors allow that? And then it has to be available. And we talk about consistent supply, and that shouldn't be disrupted. And all of that has to be in place. I am hoping that Starlink will make an appearance here, but I'm not holding my breath. I just think there are too many variables that we can't account for. So, in terms of the bottom of the pyramid, it first of all starts by understanding people, and then you develop those customer insights. But also, it is then to create the rules of the game. And I think the core delivery, for me, the final thing is that it becomes part of a community's life, that it is an essential feature that the community has access to all the time. Yeah. And then in terms of how to rethink your businesses, so Pralad is the right around bottom of the pyramid. The first one is that it often will reduce your capital intensity, and you're able to spread your capital needs. You get partners involved. There are a number of processes, and then work within the broader system. give affordability, and then I think it's about how we process requests, how we get our items to people. And yeah, the last one is that this is a market that then almost moves on and creates another market. It gets a bit of momentum going, guys. And then just in terms of what leadership looks like in these organizations, I think this is one of my favorite terms ever. What does the fuzzy front end of innovation suggest? It has to be reliable. Remember, it's not about ripping naive people off, but you're right, must be reliable now. What does the term fuzzy front end suggest? Love that term. Love that term. I think often when you create a new innovation, in particular when it is so brand new, you will never I'm hoping not gimmick stuff. I think you could never imagine what this product will be. And you don't always know how this product will fit into a system, how this product will be accepted. It is that level of uncertainty with any significant advancement. I think the truth is wireless chargers is a wonderful example. Bluetooth as well. We didn't know what Bluetooth would do. The stupid one, post-it notes. Look at what post-it notes has started doing. But it's that front end, and we don't always know what the final product will look like. Guys, let me tell you, when we started playing with AI, how many ever years ago, and we're talking about it first being mentioned, I think, somewhere in the 90s. No one could have predicted where AI would take us. And I don't even think we know yet where the future of AI is. So every new AI is constantly at that fuzzy front end. And that's why someone like Elon Musk is very scared of AI. But I don't want to talk about that because he has AI in his own vehicles. So, in terms of this fuzziness, it is the uncertainty. How will it be accepted? What will the final bit? Yeah, that's it. That's it. And what will that next bit look like? Guys, I think in terms of the fuzzy front end, I think the first one is when you get to the end, you start finding your projects, you start finding what the products will look like, you start seeing what the time would be to launch, you start seeing what kinds of skills you need as part of that process. And then in terms of what the ideal organization looks like, guys, you can see the kind of stuff that goes through the process. So any idea is often, not as clear as it should be. But the truth is, there are a lot of things that have to be in place before you get to that last phase. And then design thinking. I think in terms of design, it is really creating so that people can use it effectively. I think it is when we create something brand new for a customer, we already thinking what this customer must have in their hands. So if you think of design thinking, it is the user interface in terms of computers. It's the user interface in terms of phones. It is what Android does in terms of making a phone so valuable to us. So, in terms of the design thinking, often it is getting through those stages of innovation. But um, well, it is. I think, and I don't, you know, I don't know this very well. But is that not the sort of how do I explain it? Is that not really the the thinking on the whiteboard that we use, and often that thinking acts as a canvas in terms of what we will have at the end. Yeah, no, then I've got it right. Yeah, so it's that canvas, and it's the idea working, and people trying to figure it out. Yeah, my son writes AI, my 28-year-old son writes AI, and you must see the whiteboards in his place. They're just whiteboards. And I mean, in his little apartment, he wrote AI that optimizes the delivery of cell phones, and it's been rolled out in several countries now. But you must see what that canvas, if we want to use that term, looks like, what those whiteboards look like. It is just math and thinking. I mean, stuff I don't understand, to be honest with you. Um, my son is, yeah, guys, he's yeah. I don't know how my wife and I created our kids, because our kids are highly intelligent. And for your kids to be geniuses, both the dad and the mom have to be a genius. And truthfully, my wife is not very bright. I'm saying it looking if she can hear what I'm saying. Sorry, guys, I might be divorced later. Oh, I'm so brave when my wife is not around. No, he is. Well, he did pure math at university, and for his pure math honors, and that included a dissertation. He got 97%. It's ridiculously bright. We don't know. Yeah, he is. He's very, very, very bright. He's scary bright, actually. And there's no way that my wife and I could have produced him. We're just too dumb. Yeah. Guys, so in terms of the design thinking, I think first of all, when we talk about multidisciplinary collaboration, I think you need marketers there, you need operators there, people from operations, because it's great to design and it's great to be in research and development. But if you can't build it, it's useless. If you can't sell it, it is even more useless. And the truth is, I think we don't often understand the value of having multiple skills in one room, and their new ideas. And I think also it's about creativity. It's about using that right brain, getting the prototypes out, because the time between idea and product has to slow down, has to be almost negligible, my apologies. Otherwise, your competitor will beat you to the punch, guys. And then just also new and better models. And I think it's about better systems. It's about systems thinking and understanding how different things link together, guys. And then just what an innovative individual is. I see that they've asked this as a question in the past. This is the good old Big Five personality scale. Anyone seen the Big Five personality scale before? Remember, it suggests that these five personality traits are at different ends. So, neurotic is somebody who is concerned about everything and worries and worries and worries. And then the opposite end of the neuroticism scale would be somebody who is quite level headed, who sees the world for what it is. Extrovert versus introverts. Who are the introverts here? No, Gaston is an extrovert. Gaston, an introvert. Yeah, sure. Any introverts here? 2 hours extra than intro. That's bipolar, cat. That's bipolar, not anything less, guys. And then open to experience, will try anything, or close to experience, hesitant to try things. Agreeable versus obstinate. Who are the obstinate people here? Won't change their mind because they have their mind made up, and no matter what you show them and what facts, you can't change it. Yeah, and don't say Trump supporters. And then conscientiousness, hardworking, focused, understands time frames, etc. And yeah, people who lack direction. Who are the conscientious, hardworking people here? Come on, Kat, admit it. Well, if you are, if you're a neurotic, introverted, open to experience, agreeable, conscientious person, you're the dream in an organization. The killers are let not go to that. And then, guys, in terms of the kinds of values that we look at, so openness to change, and you can see the kinds of things that go there. And then self-transcendence is the idea of giving back to the universe in simple terms. Conservation values is making sure that we don't destroy Dexter here. And then achievement, etc., in terms of wanting to make a difference. Truthfully, Elon Musk fits that really, really well. Guys, and then just you can see some of the stuff. I'm not going through those bits and pieces. And then in terms of what it means in an organization, know your people. Cheers, Nate. Thank you so much, but have a good one. Hey. Yeah, so in terms of this, you have to know strengths and weaknesses. But the key thing is about bringing in people who constantly are bright, who constantly want to learn, constantly challenge people's thinking. And then the more diverse, the better the team. And then I think it's also to know what gives people some sort of inspiration. And then, yeah, there's so many facets of individual behavior that I think sometimes we cannot imagine what and how complex the average person is. Okay. Any questions, any comments, guys? Sorry, I